Alrighty, guys. So today what I want to do is I want to show you exactly how the rebuilt method works before we hop on our call, right? So I want you to understand how this is actually going to work. And then on our call, what we're going to do is we're going to actually step-by-step build this out for you. So again, if you're a busy professional and you're struggling with a hectic schedule and you're struggling to dial in on your health and you want to lose at least 20 to 40 pounds of belly fat, develop some lean muscle, and increase your energy in a sustainable way, just by using this one simple method we created, then you've come to the right place. And the best part about it is these are guaranteed results. So if you use our system and it doesn't work for whatever reason, you don't pay a dime. That's the beauty of it. And again, this is without counting calories, spending 3+ hours in the gym each week, or cutting out your favorite foods. The name of the game here is sustainability just by using this simple method we created. So let's dive into it. So before we get into the basics, again, a little bit about me, a little bit of how I got here. And the cool part about this, guys, is like this isn't just a method I decided to create out of thin air. I'm a case study. I was the first case study for this method, right? And I want to show you the step-by-step process I use from being an overweight corporate worker working 80 hours per week and just feeling terrible physically and mentally. Like I just didn't feel good. And I just knew I had so much left in the tank. And I'll dive into that later. But I lost over 30 pounds, built 6 pounds of good lean muscle, and competed in the 4x4 by 48, which is you run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, an Ironman. And I did all this, guys, in a 6-month span. So I did the 4x4 by 48, the Ironman, and lost over 30 pounds while building that muscle in just a 6-month span, while still working those 80+ hours per week. So that's the beauty of it, right? It's like I was in the gym maybe 3 or 4 hours a week. That was it. And I was still able to accomplish all this just by using a simple method I created. And we call it the rebuilt method. Now, again, not only has this worked wonders for me, but my clients as well. Like guys like Charlie lost over 30 pounds, and then completed his first 70.3 Ironman. So cool. David lost 20 pounds in just 1 month, in 30 days, right? This method has worked wonders for guys. And so if you relate to this, it's going to be really cool. So stick around. And so again, who is this for? So if you want to lose at least 20 pounds without spending hours in the gym, definitely for you. Consistently, see, if you're struggling to stay consistent when it comes to actually achieving your health goals, 100% for you. Struggling with that discipline, that accountability, staying on a consistent schedule, kind of relates to item number 2, definitely for you. And if you're struggling because of work, right? Work, family, other commitments that you never actually achieve your goals. You never do what you set out you say you're going to do. You start January 1st and you're like, I'm going to accomplish all this. And then you look back and it's July and you haven't done anything. This is definitely for you. And the last one, if you're just tired of living a mediocre lifestyle, right? You guys have so much left to give. And you're not meant to just work 80 hours per week, go home and not live up to your full potential, right? You have one life to live. Might as well live it. So if you're really serious about making that change, this is definitely for you because this is a life-changing program. Now, who is this not for? Like I just said, if you're looking to just continue living a mediocre lifestyle where you work, you go home, you eat like crap, you drink, and that's the name of the game, not the program for you. So you should probably stop watching now. If you don't care how you feel and look and never actually want to get back to your prime shape that you were in high school, that you were in college, definitely not for you. If you're not actually willing to change the direction, right? If you're not actually committed to this and you're looking for a magic pill or a quick solution that promises these overnight results, and if you don't see it in a week, you're going to hang your cleats up, don't bother, continue watching. This is not for you. And the last one, the most important one, is we're a team here. At the end of the day, we're doing this together as a team. And if you're not open to receiving the guidance, the support, or being held accountable for your actions, definitely not the program for you. So like I said, if any of these apply to you, you can stop watching now and I won't hate you. All righty. So here's the truth about losing weight while having a crazy busy schedule that no one's going to tell you. The excuses of, I'm too busy or I don't have time, they're just lies you're telling yourself. You just don't have a system in place. That's all. You don't have your priorities straight. You don't have a clear-cut system that allows you to achieve a specific goal effortlessly. And you don't understand that, the secret to building a plan that actually allows you to achieve your goal without being a huge time commitment, it's not rocket science, guys. It's not rocket science. And so there's so much information out there. There's so many PDFs and so many programs. And so like, if you're watching this, you're on the right track because you're like, enough's enough. I actually am serious about this. And I actually want to get this dialed in. And I'm tired of all the, excuse my French, BS that you see out there, right? You're actually serious about this and you actually want to get this dialed in. And I'm telling you, it's not rocket science. We can do this and we can do it pretty effortlessly. And if you're that person in this breakdown, we're going to go over exactly, again, how we navigate around the issues mentioned above, how I did all this while still working 70 to 80 hours per week without spending hours in the gym and without, going on some insane restrictive diet, cutting out carbs, eating chicken and salad for 6 months. I did this all in a way that was really sustainable. And that's the beauty of the rebuild method, is it's sustainability. That's the name of the game, right? This isn't just a 6-month program where it's like, okay, we're going to get this dialed in for 6 months. Good luck after 6 months. Hope it works. No, our goal with this program is that this is a transformation, lifelong transformation. It's a mindset shift at the end of the day. And that takes work to get there. But if you can achieve that mindset shift, it's incredible how transformational this program really is. And again, before we dive in, I want to give you an idea of how I actually got here. So a little more detail in terms of my story. So, I was working a corporate job where I was working 70 to 80 hours per week pretty consistently. And this led to me getting overweight and just living an unhealthy lifestyle, right? But here's the issue. And here's the issue with most programs that you see out there is most of these programs are a 90-day PDF that tell you to eat chicken and rice and work out for an hour and a half every day. Well, the reality is that's not sustainable for most people, right? Like I said, if you're watching this, you're a busy professional with a hectic schedule. To go tell you to eat chicken and rice and work out for an hour and a half every day and you can get 6-pack abs like the guys you see out there, not possible. And it wasn't possible for me either. I was working 80 hours per week. I had client dinners every week, three or four client dinners every week. And I was traveling every other week for work. So I was like, how am I just supposed to go out there and eat chicken and rice for the next 90 days, right? Like, how is that possible? And so what happened is working with my now business partner, I devised the rebuild method, losing the weight, increasing my energy, and achieving a physical milestone while maintaining my social life, my personal life, all that good stuff, right? Like this, again, the name of the game here is sustainability. I didn't do this in a way that I locked myself in my room for 6 months and just dialed in on this. No, I did in a way that still allowed me to enjoy myself. And in 4 months, I lost over 20 pounds and ran the 4x4x48. 6 months later, I did my Ironman, being down 30 pounds. And again, more energy than ever, right? So this isn't just weight loss. This is weight loss. This is building muscle. This is increasing that endurance. And this is changing the direction of your life just by using a simple method. And, 200 plus transformations later, and we still continue to just see some amazing transformations. And so here's the most important part of the rebuild method, without a doubt: accountability. You cannot do this without accountability. Like I said, if you're watching this video, you're someone who is extremely busy, who's working an intense job, and has not been able to stay consistent in years. And without accountability, that trend is going to continue. And so in my personal journey, I had my cousin who had gone through a similar transition a couple years prior. So I was able to rely on him every single day, right? When I'm working 80 hours per week, when I have 3 or 4 client dinners a week, when I'm traveling every other week for work, it's easy to make excuses, skip training sessions, or deviate from your planned diet when you're exhausted, right? The reason I had gotten so out of shape is I was always just making excuses. I was just always telling myself, no, I can't. With an accountability partner, that's not allowed, right? I was talking to my cousin 4 to 5 times every day, holding me accountable. Hey, I have a client dinner. Don't know if I'm going to be able to get the 45-minute workout in today. Great. Here's a 15-minute workout you can do instead, right? It's modification, but the goal is you're consistently getting 1% better every single day, right? So when I started, the temptation to crash on the couch, it was high. It was high to just come home from work after a long day and just crash. It was high. But slowly over the 6-month span, That crash on the couch turned to a trip to the pool for laps. And the reason for that is I had a co-pilot to steer me back in whenever I was falling off track. It was the external accountability that really made the difference between settling for the mediocre lifestyle that I was living previously and reaching for greatness and achieving what I knew I was actually capable of. And again, I really want you guys to understand this. This wasn't me working out for 12 hours a week. This was it was 3 or 4 training hours a week. That was it. I promise you. But the difference was that I was consistent. And it's pretty amazing what you can do if you spend 3 or 4 hours in the gym each week and stay consistent for 6 months. It's pretty incredible. Main point here, without accountability, none of this would have been possible. And so here we go, the rebuild method, the step-by-step blueprint. So again, in 6 months, I lost over 30 pounds, built some goat lean muscle, doubled my energy, and ran some pretty significant events, right? Without some extreme training plan, without some extreme diet plan. The main thing here, guys, is if this isn't personalized, it's not beneficial. You guys can go out there and you can pay for those $50 generic PDFs that have all these workouts for you and tell you what to do. It's not going to be beneficial, right? And I'm sure you've done it before. I'm sure you've tried the fad diets. I'm sure you've tried those those training plans where it just tells you what to do. You don't stick with it. Now, again, one of the main reasons you don't stick with it is you don't have that accountability system in place. That's a huge reason for why. But it's also not personalized for you. So 2 stages here. We have our building phase, which is the first 90 days, and the optimization phase, which is day 90 to 180. It all revolves around fitness, nutrition, and routine, right? And so this is really important. So a couple different stages through each phase. So let's dive into them. So the first phase, training. Very important to understand. You need to understand where baseline is. Now, again, a reason the rebuild method is so beneficial is because we are by your side every single day, right? So we do all the work in determining where baseline is. But if you start working out with a plan you get online and it's significantly harder than what you're used to and you're not able to do 50% of the exercises, how beneficial is that, right? So when I started out, I spent 2 weeks understanding where my fitness level was at. I tracked all my numbers for 2 weeks, right? I needed to know like what I was capable of at that exact moment. And so the next step was for strength training. I used lower weight, higher reps to adapt to my training volume, right? I didn't just go out there and start bench pressing 225. No, I started low. I started with my reps and I wanted to build that strength slowly without hurting myself, risking myself for energy or just burning out. And for endurance training, guys, I wasn't running very much. I couldn't run a mile. I couldn't do 20 push-ups a row when I started out. 6 months later, I did an Ironman, right? And so again, all that was understanding where baseline was and then just slowly building on that each week. So for strength training, was gradually increasing the weight 5 to 10 pounds each week, or when I felt comfortable, right? When I was able to rep with good form. Same thing with endurance. When I could go out there and I could run 2 to 3 miles easily, I would increase that on a weekly basis, right? Same thing with the bike, same thing with the swim. And so if you look at my schedule here, it's not that crazy. Most of you guys would be able to do this. And this was week 3 and 7. Like, look how it just slowly ramps up. But again, I needed to understand where my baseline was. Without that, it's not beneficial. So with endurance, this is crucial. You need the accountability for the nutrition. So for the first 2 weeks, I didn't make any changes to my diet. None. I just took a picture of everything I was eating and sent it over to my cousin. That was it. Guess what? Took off 7 or 8 pounds in the first 2 weeks just by doing that. Why? Because I became mindful of it. I became mindful of what I was eating. That was it. That is a 30-second strategy you can start implementing today by having an accountability partner. You just take a picture of everything you eat and send it to him. And then from there, he took a look at what I was eating, right? And he personalized it. So it wasn't like, I was eating pasta and he goes, okay, here's chicken and salad. No, it was slight modifications. So it was just healthier alternatives. That's the key. and he would send me daily and weekly meal plans. But it's so important that I did that 2-week span of sending him my meals so he understood when I was eating, why I was eating, how I was eating, so that he could build this out in the most sustainable way possible. That's what we're doing here, sustainability, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys have done the yo-yo, right? Where you get really dialed in for a couple months and then you fall off track, and you get really dialed in and you fall off track. Well, what we're doing here is learning how to overcome that so that you never struggle with that again. And so that's why it was so important for him to understand who I was when it came to my eating habits. If I was eating that cookie at 11 o'clock at night, I was taking a picture and sending it over. Why? Because he needed to understand my tendencies. It's not going to be beneficial for you guys to go on these fad diets or download a 30-day PDF that tells you to eat chicken and rice. It's just not. And you can convince yourself you're going to stick to it for the rest of your life, but you're not. Excuse me. And then another thing he put together for me was a high protein cheat sheet, right? So he put together the kind of this cheat sheet of, if I needed to do like a fast food option, or if I didn't have a ton of options, he understood where I lived and what was around me. And when I was traveling for work, he would put together sheets for me so that I could stay on track and I could still choose the healthier alternative. So again, it's funny, right? Because it's like, this all really goes back to accountability. Without that system in place, this journey is just going to be significantly harder for you. You can do it, but it's also that much more fun when you do have that accountability system in place as well. And so routine, this is really important too. Getting in a consistent routine. So I'd have a morning routine, 10 minutes of breath work, 10 minutes of meditation, midday, 10-minute NSDR, which is just a kind of like a meditation type practice, non-sleep deep breaths, just to reset the nervous system. And then nighttime routine, as you can see in my nighttime routine here, 30 minutes each day. That's it, just to avoid the burnout. That was it. It was that simple. But it was crucial, right? Without this routine, my mind would have been all over the place. Look, the reality is like, this is something new that you're implementing. And if your mindset isn't where it needs to be, it's going to be really that much more difficult to achieve, even if you have all the systems in place, right? So this was great for not only my physical health, but my mental health as well. We take a holistic approach here. We don't want you just looking great. We want you feeling great as well. And a lot of this plays into your energy levels. That sleep routine increased my sleep by, I think it was like 30 to 40% efficiency. I actually got a test done. It was pretty wild. So again, another hack you guys can take from this video alone is just following the sleep routine. The optimization phase, so the back end of our program. So for me, you're just scaling the numbers, right? So again, here's what my schedule looked like. It's not crazy, guys. Wednesday was 2 workouts. Friday was 2 workouts. And that was it. Every other day was a workout. But you're just building upon the baseline. That's it. Like you're literally just building upon what you already have in place. And as you can see, right, like this is still extremely doable, even if you're working 80 hours per week. That's really the beauty of this, is that if you look at this schedule, this was my training schedule when I was at my peak phase. So I forget exactly what month this was in. I want to say 3 or 4, but I was working 80 hours per week and I was still able to get this in. Priorities and accountability. Without accountability, it's not possible. You guys are going to take away from this video. You're just going to be thinking about the word accountability for the next 3 days. But I'm telling you, it's crucial in your health journey. It's crucial. As you can hear the landscapers outside. Nutrition. So at this point, I had really lost like a lot of the weight, right? Like in the first 90 days, 20 to 30 pounds is pretty much gone. So now we're focused on body recomposition, right? So bulking up the shoulders, the chest, and focusing on making you look good. So the first stage is we want to take the fat off. That takes about 60 to 90 days. Once we dial in on that, then we start building from the body recomposition phase. And so each day, you know, we were kind of getting dialed in on what we were eating. And so again, it was all sustainable, but it was making those healthier alternatives, the choices. So so that we could get the body recomposition we were going for. We could get the big chest, the big shoulders, the arms that we're looking for, really focusing on dialing on getting those abs in, because you had eliminated the belly fat. Like when you join our rebuild program, you're going to eliminate those 20 to 40 pounds within the first 90 days, right? Like that's our whole goal. And then once we do that, once we get that unnecessary fat off, then we start building up the body. And so it's a 2-part phase, and that's why it's really important as well. And then routine, I started to incorporate a little more. Flexibility routine, especially as my training ramped, this was really important, especially for a lot of you guys who are sitting for hours a day at a desk. You got to include that flexibility routine. That's going to be really beneficial for you guys. Same thing with the early morning riser routine. I just started waking up 45 minutes earlier. I wanted to make my day more productive. And then just a daily routine, just small little habits I could incorporate to make myself feel that much better, right? Like I've touched on this, and yes, a lot of our program is the physical and looking better, but it's also the mental. Because like, take bodybuilders, for example. A lot of bodybuilders look great, but if you've listened to any of them talk, a lot of them have really poor mental health because it's so extreme what they're doing. It's not what we're doing here. Yeah, we want you to look good, but we want you to feel good as well. And that's a really big part of our program. So guys, like the Rebuild Method, it's a program I created through my own trial and error. And this is really important because I've gone through this. I'm the first case study. I've shown what's possible. Like this isn't just about losing weight or doing an extreme endurance event. It's about taking back control of your health in a sustainable way. If you show up, if you put in a couple small habits every single day and stay consistent with a plan while having an accountability partner in place, some pretty amazing things can happen. I promise you guys. I know if you're watching this, you're probably in a spot where you're just stuck. And you want to get out of that. And there's no magic pill, but there is one simple solution. And it's the Rebuild Method. And I promise you it will be a life transformation once you join our program. So now that you know exactly how the process works, I have an offer for you. So if you're a burnout male corporate worker, you're over the age of 25, you're just tired of living a mediocre lifestyle, you're drained physically and mentally, and you want to turn your life around. You want to lose that fat. You want to put on muscle. You want to have the healthiest and strongest body you can have in under 3 hours per week. I'm going to help you lose 20 to 40 pounds of fat, develop lean muscle, increase that endurance just by following this one simple method, or you don't pay. It's that simple. You don't pay a dime if it doesn't work. You're literally making a one-time fee to guarantee results for the rest of your life. And if they don't, you don't pay. So I hope that was really beneficial for you guys in terms of how this is actually going to work. Like I said, what we're going to do next, we're going to hop on a call, and I'm actually going to go through and build this out for you specifically to show you exactly how it's going to look once you're inside our system. But again, based on your exact criteria. So I look forward to talking with you guys. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message. Other than that, I look forward to talking on our call.